This is Ezra Levant with TheRebel.media. I am at the Royal Courts of Justice in London, where the morning's proceedings have just concluded in the appeal of Tommy Robinson. What's new today is that it's not just an appeal of the sentence, it's an appeal of the conviction and an appeal of his case in Canterbury a year ago. And I saw someone in the court from America, Will Chamberlain, a lawyer formerly with the Competitive Enterprise Institute, who's been following the Tommy Robinson case. So I sort of pressed him into service as a bit of a legal commentator. Will, great to see you in London.
It's great to be here with you, Ezra. Absolutely.
Well, you know what? This is an important case, not just for Brits, but for Canadians and Americans. And I know there's supporters of Tommy all around the world. Before I ask you about what we saw this morning, tell me why you think an American should care about someone in London named Tommy Robinson.
I mean, I think this is a pretty shocking case that's happened to Tommy all around. Like, nothing that happened to Tommy could have happened in the United States legal system. He couldn't have been thrown in jail for reporting on a trial. The First Amendment protects reporting, and the sort of broad reporting restrictions that were put in place by this judge would have been totally illegal. Similarly, he couldn't have been thrown in jail for 10 months without a trial. The American system says anything more than 6 months requires a jury trial, even if it's contempt of court. And the summary procedure in this case would also be offensive to the American court system, where he was picked up and thrown in jail on the same day for up to 10 months. So I see it as a sense of why is the UK like this, and what are the differences in American and UK law that allow UK judges to wield so much power?
Yeah, those are excellent points, and it's a good reminder of the importance of the First Amendment. One of the things that we heard in some detail from Tommy's barrister, Jeremy Dean, QC, was Tommy's mistreatment in the prison itself, how he's in solitary confinement, denied the right to, let's say, go to church, how he's only allowed half an hour in the prison yard, how his meetings with lawyers have been canceled or cut short. Really atrocious conduct. I don't see Amnesty International or Reporters Without Borders here. Would the ACLU take this case in the U.S.? Would anyone who cares about prisoners' rights take this case in the U.S.?
Well, I mean, 2 years ago, I certainly would have said yes. And in the last 2 years, though, the ACLU has not shown a solid commitment to freedom of speech if the speaker is not someone they approve of. It's actually very sad. But in general, I think one particular point that was very distressing was the fact that they were cutting short his meetings with his lawyers.
I think he only had 2 in the end, and they were both cut short by more than half.
Right, and one of the issues that the judge just pointed out is that the appeal was out of time, in the sense that it seems pretty clear that they missed a filing deadline for the appeal. But the problem was, if the court system and the government and the prisons were playing games with Tommy and not letting him see his lawyers, then it becomes very hard to file that appeal on time in the first place. So there's some very profound questions about whether justice has even remotely been done so far in this case, procedurally.
I think you're right. What came clear to me is just how hard Tommy's sentence has been. Solitary confinement, 2 full months. The proceedings are not done. We've just had a few hours, but the sense I'm getting from looking at the judges, there's a 3-judge panel. I think Dame McGowan, one of the judges, her interventions seem critical of Tommy, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. The Chief Justice themselves, his interventions always seem sympathetic to Tommy. I'm going to go out on a limb and make a prediction, because that's what pundits do. I don't know if they're going to overturn the conviction in Canterbury last year. I doubt they will. They may overturn the conviction in Leeds. But I now believe that even if those 2 things don't happen, they'll let Tommy out having served enough time, because it's so clear that he's been abusively handled and his sentence is overly long. That's my hunch if I had to say something at 12 noon here.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think the problem with the Canterbury appeal is that it really is clearly very late. Like, it's over a year since that suspended sentence was handed down. So I don't think the judges are going to disturb that. But I think you're right. I think they're going to see the fundamental injustice in the way that Tommy was dealt with at the Leeds Crown Court. And I think they'll either quash that sentence or substantially reduce it.
Well, Will, it's nice to meet you finally. I follow you on Twitter, and you're a lawyer from America with an American sensibility of freedom. It's great to have a dose of that here in the UK.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, there you have it. Will Chamberlain, formerly a lawyer with the Competitive Enterprise Institute. I'm Ezra Levant. If you haven't checked out our various websites, we have a few of them. As you know, we're crowdfunding the cost for Tommy's legal appeal. He has 4 lawyers in there, 2 on the solicitor side, 2 on the barrister side. They have a divided bar here in the UK. If you want to help pay those bills, go to SaveTommy.com. If you want to help pay my bills for being here, that's a separate crowdfund at TommyTrial.com. And if you want some free stuff, I got to tell you got to download your Tommy ringtone at TommyRingtone.com. It is the funnest thing to have on your cell phone. I'm joking around a little bit, but I think I'm in good spirits. I think Tommy's going to be free. God willing, that'll happen. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant. I'm here in London at Tommy's Court of Appeal hearing. For all of my updates, go to TommyTrial.com.